Oh, welcome to the Aquarian Shaman broadcast. I'm Star Wolf, your shamanic host, and I'm here to teach you how to transform yourself and transform the world. Twice a month, we'll be exploring how to develop shamanic psycho-spiritual practices to support transformation while expanding your energy field in a way that can also support others. Each episode offers dynamic experiential guidance and teachings on how to safely enter a natural altered state of consciousness using the sacred breath. Additionally, we will discuss the importance of integration and grounding this medicine into your everyday life. Stay tuned. We're about to create authentic embodied change that will surely grow corn for the future generations. So welcome everyone who's tuning in right now. And I always begin by burning a little bit of smudge here, a little bit of sage, and praying that the fire detectors don't go off. So just sending some of this out. And in case you don't know what this is, probably most of you who are tuning in would know what this is, but just in case you accidentally, perhaps, or synchronistically wound up here, the sage is just one of many plants that can be burned. And to be burned and to bring an aroma, to activate the senses, to activate the third eye, to activate our energy field. And it creates a kind of cleansing and a releasing of, when I say negative energies, just stuff that gets stuck to us and everyday stuff from the media, from, our kids or dogs or cats primarily, but whatever that's bugging us at the time. And to just a reminder to put it into the smoke and watch it disappear, at least for a little while. And in honor of my guest today, who I'm going to introduce in just a moment, Lynne Forrest, I have brought out a feather of a tropical bird. Wow. And we lived together many years ago when we were both going through many transformations, and we had the privilege and honor to walk beside each other for quite a while and live under the same roof together in the woods. And we also split that time up so that each one of us could travel. And I would stay and Lynne would go, and then she would come back and I would go, and then we would go together. But we also, Lynne had an amazing bird. And what kind was he, Lynne? Was he a green wing?
He was an African gray parrot.
African gray. And his name was Romeo. And Lynne's daughter just told me, she updated me on him the other day about how he's doing and where he's living with a bunch of wild birds and a handler. So, and he's only 40, so he's got about 80 more years to live.
Isn't that I know, right? That was a killer for me because I'm getting older. I'm seeing wrinkles. He would be sitting right here 25 years later. We were together 33 years. He would be here and he hadn't changed at all. And I'm like, "Rrr."
You have to ask him what his beauty secrets
I'm telling you.
Anyway, he liked me, but he was gaga over you. But anyway, in honor of Romeo, in honor of our relationship and all the time that we spent, I wanted to bring out a wild bird from Africa's to honor our smudging ceremony today. But before we really go any further, I want to read here. Let's see, Nicholas has sent this to me. Where it is. There we are. Your bio, because I want some folks, because if I start talking about you, I'll just talk about you the whole show. So I'm going to
take me off the hook,
Well, no, you and I are used to hanging on the meat hook.
That's true.
We know Anana's story very well. So first of all, this is Transformation Network, and this is the Aquarian Shaman, and this program is really dedicated to anyone who sees themselves as someone who wants to love, protect, take care of this earth and what we love on this earth, the animals, the creatures, the trees, all the elements, the waters, our children, our great-grandchildren, on it goes. So it's those who love this earth, Those who believe that we're not born in sin, that we're born in blessing, and that we're here to, this is like the Ph.D. in the cosmos of learning about unconditional love and forgiveness and all those things. That's why it's light and shadow. And it's a shamanic planet. So therefore, we're all shamanic beings. And specifically right now, because of the turning of the ages, the Aquarian effect is what's affecting the shamanic world now. And all that that might mean to each of us, or people might not know. So we might want to get to know more about what does it mean to be in the era of the Aquarian shaman. So with that, I will introduce you to my dear sister, from another mother, if you will, but my dear sister who I just love and appreciate and have always respected and admired tremendously. So this is, it would take me the whole program to tell you everything about Lynne, but I then I still wouldn't have told you much.
Tell me,
I'm just going to tell you a little bit. This is what her daughter, Jaquetta, sent to me. So we'll see what she had to say. Lynne is a reality guide and a personal growth mentor who uses ancient spiritual principles. She calls the guiding principles of reality to help those who struggle to find their way back into alignment with themselves and their life purpose. Lynne came up through the ranks of experiential learning rather than the more traditional academic route. Lynne has been educated through a lifetime of studying and observing metaphysical principles that were taught to her early in life. She has sought and found practical ways of applying those principles for immediate positive change. In the early 70s, she started out in the mental health field, hired and trained by Health Maintenance Organization, HMO, in social work and mental health. I feel like I'm reading my bio, by the way, Lynne.
We had a similar history, I
So,
remember.
so similar. I'm not getting finished, but I'm just saying, I'm going like, wow, no wonder we hit it off. She has been in the field of personal growth since moving to the addictions field in the 1980s after successfully transforming her own addiction. High five.
High
As a
five.
as a perpetual student of life and consciousness, Lynne has devoted her career to studying with masters of various disciplines: family dynamics, Jungian principles, dreams, shadow work, psychodrama, as well as the laws of manifestation, body-oriented practices such as yoga, physical unwinding, and qigong. These are just some of the approaches that Lynne applies in her work still and with others. She says, I have come to see that we tend to react to life in one of two ways. We either react out of victim mentality with the need to find someone or something to blame, or we learn to stand back and see life through the eyes of the observer, able to see without criticism. I help people recognize the victim mind, which sees themselves as being at the mercy of life, and instead to cultivate a degree of radical self-responsibility and self-acceptance that sets them on the path to inner freedom, peace, and joy. Welcome to Aquarian Shaman today, Lynne Forrest,
Wow.
my shamanic sister, friend,
I
and
am so honored, truly, truly honored to be acknowledged in that way. And yeah, I could not even begin to live up to that description of me. I'm so
you already
so
have.
I'm just gonna put it down over here somewhere and appreciate it. Appreciate you for being willing to share with me. That's you are so much that energy of sharing and giving and meeting people right where they are.
Mm,
And that's why I could leave home without you. You know,
yeah.
I could leave you knowing that you would hold steady. And we also are the polarities, you and I.
Right,
you
right.
know.
I was going to say you also left your
Yeah.
daughter there with me, Jaquetta, who was a teenager,
Oh,
and she and I were talking
yes.
about that a couple of days ago and about how much fun we had when you were gone.
Oh, well, I'm glad to know it.
Anyway, she was like, she became my daughter too in that way for a while. So I got to
Mm.
really love her. And she said to me, it was so cute. She said, I swear it feels like it was just yesterday that I was there with you all, And of course, she's got these grown-up sons who are taller than her and her husband and I'm thinking, but she's just 15.
I know, right? Frozen in time. Frozen in time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell one on you. Let me tell this story from
Okay. Oh
Jaquetta.
dear.
Because we were vegetarian, Jaquetta and I were vegetarian at that
Right.
point. And so she said, Mama, I was gone. I said, what did you eat? And blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, Star Wolf would offer me, I got,
Probably a hamburger.
no, no, chicken soup. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
She said she would, and I would remind her that I was vegetarian. I didn't eat chicken. And she would say, well, it's just a little chicken. It's just not, it's just,
Just a
just
couple
chicken. Don't
pieces.
worry about it. Like, it's not going to hurt you. Whether you didn't say all that, but that was the attitude. It was like, it was really good. The way she told it, it was hilarious because you're funny. Do you
Well,
remember how
in
much we would
Kentucky,
get to
chicken's
laughing?
considered, I said in Kentucky where I'm from, chicken's considered almost a vegetable. Sorry, sorry for all vegans and vegetarians out there. I at one point was a vegetarian for several years, and I really morally and spiritually wanted to be one. But my reality is I'm an O negative blood type, and I got anemic and all these different things. And I was eating everything the way you're supposed to as a vegetarian
Mhm.
to be healthy, and it didn't work for me. So I really honor that just like the all the indigenous peoples around the world that some are very strict vegetarians and some are mainly because of the climates they're in, they, eat mainly meat and fruit, those kinds of things. And that everything is alive. Everything is a part of God. God is all there is.
That's
And that
exactly
whatever
right.
we eat, may
That's
we
it.
be thankful and grateful and honor it and see that it comes from a good place and a good source. Moving past that, Lynn, I want to focus on you a little bit or actually quite a bit. We've read your bio and I've held up to you and held up to whoever's looking that this was us during the time we just talked about. I was going through a divorce. I was in my late 30s. I'd been married since I was 19, and Lynn was going through some changes, and we decided to live together part-time in what's the name of it? Ringgold?
In
Ringgold,
Ringgold,
Georgia,
Georgia,
out
that's
in the
I had a
woods.
house, yeah.
Yeah.
And my
And
daughter lived there and I lived there, right.
and then I would come up and spend some time and it was a transitional time, hugely transitional time for me. And it was a very important time. But prior to that, do you remember where we met and how we met? And would you like to do you remember briefly how to speak into
Oh
that?
yeah, I'll tell my version of it.
You
It'll
tell
be
it.
my story.
Yes, your
This is my
story.
story. It was the very first time that maybe either one of us had gone to a 7 day with Jacqueline Small when it was, and we met at on that occasion. And which one was it? Which one of us was it that said, "Hello, hello again," or "It's so nice to see," or whatever, or that? What was it? Tell me what was it when
Well,
we were?
I think I walked in and you were already in the cabin that had a couple of rooms in it and where you were staying, and then I was staying with my husband, and we met each other, I think, in somewhere in there, and I believe it was you that said, "Hello, it's good to see you again." And I said, "You too."
It was me. I can feel it again. It was like embarrassing for me to have because it was that moment of what I've just never even seen her before in my life, but you know, yeah,
But
yeah.
it
When
felt
it like
like it. We
that,
recognized each other immediately.
we recognized each other. That's right. And we went from there pretty much. We turned into what would you call it? I'm trying to find the right adjective. What kind of energy that the two of us, because again, you and I are polarity. You're not
Yeah,
just that you're blonde and I'm brunette, but that, I'm solar, more solar, you are more moon and shadow that's how I see it.
yeah.
I'm out here in corporate America even, just teaching. Andrew told me, my son Andrew, who now we're working together right now doing a class, but he told me that he asked AI how many schools, in across the nation are using in my work on any degree. You won't believe this. It blew my
Please
mind.
tell us.
Well,
Honest,
600,
that's
600 universities, schools, they
beautiful.
they use the work that I did to put it in their books for their textbooks for mm-hmm.
So
Isn't that
we know that you have this rich background that we don't need to go over about, but with mental health and addictions and all the
life, mostly
life,
life,
mostly life, but
a
also
lot of
with
life.
and you went through breathwork training and you all those many different kinds of things. And I remember even when we were together, we went to see Einstein's niece or something about developing our
Holly,
psychic abilities. And
yeah,
so
she was his daughter's best friend.
oh,
Was who
so
Polly knew
yeah.
that person who was, yeah, that's who that was.
So anyway,
So yeah, so we
what I was going to say is that there's all these experiences and teachers and classes and certifications and trainings and like updating ourselves like you do computers, we kept updating, downloading new things.
exactly.
And then
And like, didn't it
eventually,
feel like levels? Like I
yeah,
moved from this level to this level, and it would be a whole different vista, like it would be totally different. And it's still like that. I'm
it is.
still, I'm still, yeah,
We're still learning. As grandmother Twyla
I was
would
going to say
say,
twisting in the wind.
I was going to say grandmother Twyla Nitch, who was, my main teacher after I went out to California and that sort of thing. She would just say, we're lifelong students. That she
That's
was a
it.
lifelong student, that she was learning until, she left, that we were always wanting to learn something new. So you kept learning and growing. And then there was a period of time, then I moved out to California and you were still in Chattanooga and we still kept in touch, but there was also a way in which it was almost, there was a individuation with us that we were very close. In my heart and mind and spirit, we've always remained close, but we've both, I think, had our own paths to go.
We had to go.
And
And we're polarity. So we're gonna
right,
go it separate. We're gonna be opposite of each other in so many ways. And
right,
but on the same path, the middle way.
right.
That's what we call it in my world. It's the middle
Uh-huh.
way. It's,
Yeah,
and where we learn to see the way it is. We learn to accept that the way it is for us, and
yes,
it's not a problem. We
yeah.
came to have the uh, challenges and all of that. We came uh, to experience that because we're here as masters, remembering that we're masters and masters have to master things.
That's so true.
So I mean, you're going to have a life on this path where you're gonna encounter some hair standing up on the back of your neck kind of things, and some gritty things. And it's just, I've learned to quit resisting it so much. That's
Mm.
what probably for
Well,
me,
that is where the
that's,
pain is, isn't it? The resistance, And I
oh
mean, it's not
yeah,
like we'll just go with the flow with any old thing, but
yeah,
when there's a natural evolution happening within our souls,
right.
and it's taking things away from us, just as the waves go up and take part of the shoreline away to
Mhm.
try and resist and hold on to the cliffs, rather than to
Yeah,
be washed out to the sea with the sand that goes out. There's a um I think it's a natural thing to want to hold on to what we cherish or love or want or we become attached to. And I think it's also natural that if we're growing and changing, even if we're not, but especially if we are on a path of transformation and on a shamanic path of death and rebirth, of change, we're going to have our fair share of needing to learn how to let go
Mm.
when the time is right and
Oh yeah.
to not become a victim around it, not to move into
Mhm.
victim. I mean, we can, on the breathwork floor, I can become a victim. Why is this happening? I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. Throw up in a
Yeah,
bag.
maybe if we do it enough there, if we do it enough there, maybe we won't have to do so much of it in life. Kind
Amen.
of idea.
That's the point, isn't it? And
Yeah.
for me, that's why I continue to teach the breath work because I find that people can basically have their own little mini psychodrama in breath work. And I
Oh
don't
yeah.
mean to diminish it or make it small, but I'm just saying it's profound. But they can energetically complete the energy
Mhm.
of that in the breathing session and
So
come out the
good.
other side and have died to it, and then actually their life changes after they leave that experience because they've changed the energetic patterns around themselves. So,
Yeah.
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 So, with the work that you have done, and that's, I mean, you've done so many different things, but what you've really, this particular body of work that's in 600 institutions and around the world, what is the heart and soul of that, Lynn? And I know you could teach about it for hours, but that's like when people say, "Ask me what is shamanic breath work." Can you
Hmm.
say
Oh
what
yeah.
is the heart and soul of this work and why it's so
If five
dear to
words or
you,
less, right?
and why it's so dear to you? Why
Yeah.
it's a calling for you because it is.
It is. Oh, I can't not do it. I've tried. I've tried to not do it. It just, I came here to do exactly what I'm doing. And what I'm doing, I think of myself as a Johnny Appleseed but instead of apple seeds, what I'm doing is, well, I'm just, my commitment has been to taking it and creating orchards of the universal laws that help us transform our story-made version of the world and help us begin to decide, take those tools from learning from that, and then apply them to becoming who it is we are here to be, you
Could you
know?
say a little something about, give us an example of a tool? I know it's a process and but is there any way you could, and
The object. Hmm.
yeah, to
That
kind of
there's,
so people could
mhm,
have an
sorry.
idea, like what is the
Mhm.
the nuts and bolts? What does it feel like? What does it look like if somebody does this practice?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's called observer consciousness. So we have victim consciousness. And victim consciousness is the ego, the life of the ego. Because what is the ego? It is a conglomeration of defense mechanism based, fear based strategies based on what we experienced in childhood. We were carrying this program, but we also have a plan that is also comes in at the same time. So we've got both the challenging path and the desire for something. And at least this is how I've experienced it.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's I don't even, and I can't honestly say I always love it, because there have been times it's been very, very, and in recent times, this whole aging thing and getting to observe it, stepping back, remembering, oh, yet again and again and again, that I'm not that, but I am that, which is
Hmm.
that is that. You, you know what I'm saying? If you can
Sound like
read that
Ram
sign
Dass.
language.
You sound like Ram Dass now.
It's, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well,
That's
yeah, can you believe, like, when you and I met, we got the foundation together. That's the training you and I did, and around just really getting our feet on the ground and
yes.
and getting clear about what our mission was. And I've been over here, it's been a much more much more city life, where I'm on concrete, but although I had a place on the mountains with 25 years and brought families there and
Uh-huh.
teaching this work, whole families, because I'm teaching them the tool is the victim triangle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the victim triangle is it is based on our um, I just went blank. A
Maybe
thought ran through and I went the other direction.
I do that frequently. With the triangle, that is it the bully? Is it the victim? Is it
It's
um
the
the
ego. The the
rescuer?
vict the victim triangle is the ego, and it teaches us the makeup of the ego. And for instance, and it's based on universal laws. So you will find the universal truths woven throughout, right? And it's the only antidote really to otherwise just being totally jerked around by our unhappy story of who we are,
And being
which,
kind of addicted to it, right? Addicted to this story because there's a
big time
way
addicted to
that we're
it.
getting kind of a almost like a
Yeah.
sadistic pleasure or something of holding on to that
We
story
call we
rather than
call
moving
it
through
professional
it.
victim, because it is the way we get taken care of.
Yeah, it's
That
just
part
wanting to
of
be
us that
loved.
just wanting to be loved. That's
Yeah.
and desperate to. And if it means I have to be, my daughter told me that this very thing, Jaquetta, she said, um, I could tell you so enjoy taking care of me. She
Uh,
said you were just that was how I made you happy. So I
mm,
would need to be taken care of so
wow.
that you would, be happy, and that is my love for you. Then that comes, so
Mm,
that's an example of. And as you walk the middle way, you step back instead of being all wrangled up in it.
yeah.
You're
Enmesh.
wrestling with, yeah, with the story that you're walking around believing, uh, you know, about
Mm-hmm.
yourself and the world, so yeah, and being able to move, activate the observer, that part of us that watches without needing to make it a problem,
Mm-hmm.
that watches it with a set of questions that, in mind. It's like I'm always observing the world. And so because what am I going to see? I'm going to see me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see me and all these different, and this part of me is playing that out. And that's the way I felt about you. Was
Mm.
that, and that's, there's a part of me that it's like I miss you. I would love to see you, but I'm okay because I can, as long as I can see you, even if it's, this is crazy, but I'll read, I'll keep up with you
Yeah,
best I
same here.
can.
I understand
Yeah.
we're both busy gals, but I can
I
keep up
just
with,
think you're that part of me over there doing that. I'm this part of me over here doing this. This is what it feels like to me. And so I'm
you,
okay with it.
Lynn, I just have to say this. It's of course I'm not surprised that you've said that because I've often felt if I wasn't me, I'd be you.
Isn't that the truth? It's
That we're
so
just,
true.
you know, you were saying that
I
I
feel
was
the same way.
more the
Yeah.
lunar, you were the solar, but I think that we, um, who's on top, who's on bottom. I think we switch those parts with one another at different times, because I'm very much, I think I was more lunar in our relationship, and that sort of thing. You were more the bold one, and at that time, and I had been married for a really long time and raising my family and all these kinds of things, and I was really in the mid 30s there, really coming. It was like I was reclaiming my teenage soul when I was a hippie and a radical and marching on campus,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. We went with the Second War, that kind of thing. My hippie self, and now I was a good girl who was sober and in recovery and a mama and all those kind of things. And it was a wonderful life, except it wasn't mine. The sobriety was, and I loved it. But then there became a time when I knew that from my soul there was something more. And you were there at that time as a friend and a soul to catch me and to give me a place to figure that out. And that's, I will be eternally grateful for you, because I don't know that I would have had the courage to take that leap of faith, that little Western Kentucky gal, social worker, addiction specialist, mama, might live down the street from my parents, all those kinds of things. I don't know, even though I've been a wild kind of hippie as a teen, I was in recovery now. So I don't know that I would have had the courage, quite frankly, to make the changes I had to make, which was going to hurt me, hurt my hurt my conscience, because I knew what the
Your
choices I was going to make was going to affect other people negatively.
your box about you. It's like you live this particular way, and
Yeah,
you were and blah blah blah. You were emanating that frequency, and it's sort of like,
right,
now, is this even the frequency I want to friggin' be
right.
on? Sort of
And
thing. I
that's the
don't know.
shamanic world, right? And to be able to break out, but it's not about being erratic or being an addict and just, creating chaos. I knew that I had to die and be reborn into this new octave of who I was becoming, but I also knew it was going to really cause disruption in my life and in other people's lives around me. That was extremely painful for me to imagine causing pain to other people that I loved. And it was your friendship, quite frankly, and uh, you had already been a person who'd already made a lot of transformations. And I'd made some too, but I'd also kind of had this steady life. And you inspired me because I could see that you weren't doing it from an addict's point of view. And that's part of something I didn't want to relapse into. You were making healthy changes and not being a victim, and just being who you were and allowing things to happen as they would. And that really gave me the courage. You were a model, a role model for me. And because
I
I,
was that I was that part of you. You when you were putting all that on me, it was you were seeing on me. I just happened to wear the same size, I could, play the
well,
part.
all I know is that I have a lot of gratitude, and I feel that people are placed in our lives, as guides, as friends, as teachers, lovers, sometimes all at once. But they come to
Mm,
us at a time when we're praying and saying, God, Great Spirit, Great Mystery, I don't know how to undo this, and I don't know how to move forward. And just to surrender and saying, okay. And that's the kind of
that's
prayers I
it.
was saying. And that was one of my biggest shamanic initiations, was during that time when we were living together, was to give myself permission to have the next spiral turn of my life and not stay in a circle or linear, but to get off of the circular and linear and to move onto the spiral path of and trusting transformation, trusting ego death, trusting that there would be a new day for myself, for my ex-husband, who I'm still good friends with and doesn't live too far from where I live, to my child, to my parents, and that everybody would get over it when I made a change. Good old
Right?
good old codependency,
And they
right?
do. I know, right? Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, you're talking about that. I'm thinking about my own life as I listen to you. And, so right now, I mean, I'm maneuvering, uh, it's like it's like turning away from the way I've been, these cycles where turning away from, the spiral goes up a level, it goes up a level, and tuning into that and finding what it is that I have to deal with, the challenge of this moment, of this particular, where I'm being brought this belief system in me for my viewing pleasure, and I'm bringing it by what it is I invite, because we are 100% absolutely, yes, we are the quote reason that we encounter what we encounter, because it's all part of what we came to use as the channel through, uh, which is the only way we can see and know, and it is to experience it. So we're going to experience it, and it's not a problem, but man, it hurts sometimes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I mean, and you may remember Andrew. He is such an amazing,
Yes, of course I remember Andrew.
yeah. He's battling with cancer.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, I
he's your
say battling. That's not true. That
yeah.
is so not true. That was just old language there. Let me say this in a more true way.
And say
He
something
is
about who he is so the audience will know.
Andrew is my son. He is my oldest and firstborn child. He is uh, an amazing human being, and he and I have worked together in this work for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's 56, so
And he's also a
and
dancer.
he's a dancer and a performer but right now he is taking a turn, in terms of that road is just like the storm pretty much wiped him out.
Mm,
Helena, in terms of just he lost everything in one fell swoop. And
mm,
but he just uses it as opportunity. He does not he's amazing at working the process as he goes through. Doesn't doesn't complain about it. He immediately begins to look for what is it and that I'm being asked to see. Oh, this is that part of me. What part of me is that? How do I feel when I, interact with that energy? And where does it land in me? And, how is it about me? So because it is, because I'm going to attract the frequency that I'm vibrating on. And it's just that's going to be who shows up in my life. It can't not be. And so for me not to take responsibility for it is just silly. It just holds me back. I do this whole
mm-hmm.
thing of like, but the thing is, yeah, that's I get to meet it, that energy, and learn how to meet it and meet it in a way that it becomes a blessing, a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And this is hard when, it's your son. And
Yes.
uh and and this is what we're doing with it. I mean,
Yeah.
he and I, as soon as I get out of here, I'm going straight to, we've got a class, he and I, that of a small group that just are here to learn about the middle way.
Yeah.
So
How beautiful.
yeah, yeah,
How beautiful that you have this. He's not only your son, but he's also a soulmate. And
yes,
that you guys have
absolutely,
this special bond and the that you through these shamanic initiations in life have brought you closer together
absolutely. It's amazing,
beyond
really.
beyond a typical mother-son relationship
Yeah.
to soulful relationships. Not that mother and son's not soulful, but I'm saying to another larger soul purpose together. And that I don't even know if I'll say larger, just another octave of what you're doing together as souls this time.
And
And
it's a wonderful thing too, when when we can know we know have the tools to know how to use the circumstance, the situation, the encounter, to use it for me, because it is for me somehow. We've
mhm,
all signed up, and we all signed up knowing we were going to take an exit.
mhm,
No surprise, you know? It's
yeah.
just that we don't think it should happen to, us or anyone we love. That's not supposed to happen. It's a bad thing. But really, no. We get better and better at just seeing, or at least don't you think? I'm speaking for you and me,
Yeah,
like I
no,
know,
no,
but
I was just sitting here in my head and I was thinking that all the way from physical deaths of people that I love, and then from pets to situations to places that I lived to, and some years ago, my husband Brad, that I was extremely in love with, who died of cancer, and it took us, um, through about a 2-year journey of that. And that was, that was the shamanic initiation every day, that sort of thing. So, you
Mhm.
know, we obviously are here on this planet to experience light and shadow. We're
Mhm.
obviously here to experience the polarities. this is the, shamanic path, is to be human as far as I'm concerned.
That's exactly right. I
Is
believe
that,
it.
it's not necessarily
Or the
because you
Buddha's path,
right,
or the,
exactly. Well,
the
but
pilgrim's path, or the
for
whatever.
me, it's easier to encapsulate all of that as shamanic. Buddhism, I
That's
mean,
it.
can there be anything more shamanic than to have your son nailed to a cross? I
Yeah,
mean,
right?
and to be his mother and watching that, or his father in
Yeah,
heaven saying
yeah,
that this is for a greater cause. I mean, regardless of the mythos, and all myths, as Joseph Campbell would say, all myths are true. That regardless of the mythos, that it appears that we have equal days, of sun and light. We have this moon and sun, the planets are arranged in a certain way. Everything is arranged in
yeah,
cyclical manner
yeah.
and is not meant to stay the same. It's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
nirvana
It
100%.
can't. That's energy can't stay still. It's going to keep evolving, just changing into its next form, whatever that is energetically. That's, yeah, it's going to, yeah, it's
And
very
it's okay,
interesting.
to and I think that anything that we love and it dies, whether it's our dog or our husband or our home or our tree, big trees we lost here during the hurricane, whatever it is that happens is worthy of our tears. It's worthy of our maybe anger, our battle that we might go through around acceptance, and all those things. I think that it's worthy of the darker emotions to feel those, to express those, and to let them move through us, just like the storm. And then the
Yes.
sun comes back out and it says, this too shall pass. And on my agenda, on the spiral path that I walk, and it says, yes, and there's more to come. you
That's
know,
exactly right.
and
That's
and,
it.
and just knowing that
Mhm.
somehow gives me some relief.
Well,
I know we talk.
especially,
Let me just say something.
yeah.
I say was that um I'm married to Nicholas and he's much younger than me, and you helped us with our relationship around that. For those of you out there who know me and know all about that, you know that I've gone through a lot to accept this relationship that we've now been in for 11 years and married for 5 this year. 5 years of marriage, thankfully through your support. But one of the things I said to Nicholas when we got to finally acknowledged our relationship, and I said to him, this will end badly. There's no way that it can't, And I'm like,
Yeah, it's
of course,
doomed.
something, it's doomed. It's, because I'm going to get really a lot older, older, older.
Yeah,
And,
and fast,
at,
right?
at this point, and you're going to be much younger. And, it hasn't mattered now, but it will later. But also it means that unless something, God forbid, happened to you, I will be leaving first. And a lot of relationships, you don't know that, but you can pretty much guess that that's probably how that's going to happen. And so rather than focusing on that, let's remember why we love each other and why we're together and celebrate that. But I also want you to know that it will end badly. Be prepared, And so we have, in a very practical way, taken care of the things that would need to be taken care of if I suddenly have dementia, or if I'm really ill, or I die, that sort of thing. And I bless his heart, and he said, and something can happen to me too. And that wasn't even in my mind, but it was actually really touching to me when he said that to me. And he said, so I'm taking out an insurance policy and I'm doing whatever because I wouldn't want you to be left older and not have the support from your husband, like what happened
Amen.
with Brad.
Wow, wow, wow.
So at that point, I
Yeah.
just shut up. I just said, thank you.
Okay, okay, okay.
I get it. I get it. I get it. That there's a bigger
He
story.
loves me. Oh,
Yeah.
wait. I'm supposed to have, I wanted love. I kept
Yeah.
pointing towards love. Why am I surprised when love shows up?
Yeah. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I
It
think
just
so.
let us know that we
I mean,
just,
it's not that I don't forget, but
yeah, that we have about 10 minutes left. It's gone by so fast. So I want to come back to you and to ask you, I guess, what on your spiral path. And we could have gone any direction because you have so much wisdom, Lynna, and so much experience, and you've dedicated almost your entire adult life, and even before then, to consciousness and change. I mean, even in the 60s and 70s, we were maybe unconsciously conscious, but we were working on it. But you have. And as you're in this place now of really your mastery as an Aquarian shaman, this is your mastery. I'm looking at you. You look so radiant.
Oh,
You look, to me, you look more beautiful than I've ever seen you. You know,
wow. Oh my
I really
gosh,
mean
no.
that. I mean
But
that.
I know what you mean because we look at each other differently too. I mean, what's beauty to us now was not on the list
Right.
back then.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So with that, mm, I'm going to take a moment. If we could just close our eyes for a moment, I ask you to check in with yourself. If there's something you'd like for the people, especially I would say everybody, but the younger people who are saying, am I an Aquarian shaman? Who am I? What can I do? Or, you know, what's a message from this wise woman, Lynne? Is there anything you would want to say more about yourself specifically you want people to know, or about your work specifically, or a message for them in some way? So just take a moment and then just do what you do. Speak from your heart.
Well, I reached over and grabbed a tarot card. Look
Yeah.
what came up. Isn't that great?
I
I love
love
that.
it.
For those of you who might not see it, it's
Yeah,
the
but it's perfect.
lovers. It's
The
the
lover.
lovers. Yeah, and yeah, the lovers, they're on the path together, holding hands,
Mm-hmm.
and they're very different. Male
Yeah.
and well, they're the masculine and the feminine, but with consciousness right behind the color yellow, and it's just they're awake, they're conscious. And there's three of them, because
Mm-hmm.
love third requires that blessing of the source above energy. So,
Lena, when you
yeah.
pulled that, I just saw, in some ways, I feel like it's me and you. We've been lovers for a long time and lovers of consciousness together. And
Well,
even
I'm
when we're
glad you
not,
said it first.
well, I feel it that we've been lovers. We fell in love with each other a long time ago. It was instant. And we're always felt that. I felt that way.
We just knew each other. We just
Yeah,
knew each other, and you know, apologizing for knowing it was not necessary because
right.
I think we both knew. It's just, oh, this is who I'm supposed to meet here
Yeah.
now. And I really truly it's you have been unique in terms of that, the feeling of and that. I mean, I have so many people I love and many who love me.
Yes.
Amazingly enough.
No.
Uh, no, no, truly, I'm blessed and
Yeah.
yeah, truly blessed. And yeah, so and I continue on, and it's continuing to change. My path and where I have been. I'm headed in a new direction, and I've been making decisions about what I want to amplify, and what do I want to see bigger, and what am I ready to let go of? What am I being asked to let go of?
Yes.
And so there's a whole lot of that going on because, yeah, it's just time. I've got a few uh, teachers, maybe, and my son is one of them. He is and my daughter, Jaquetta. Jaquetta is she just finished her master's degree in teaching, and so and she loves kids, and yeah, Jaquetta's my daughter, and she works with me
You're telling
for
us that
23 years or something.
we
Oh,
have
it's time
three
to go.
we have 3 minutes. We get talking about our kids. I'm the same way. But
Oh my gosh, you're right.
we got 3 minutes. So in the 3 minutes that we have left, um, maybe ending with this lover energy of the beloved of what we love in the spiritual world and what we love right here in this earth, and valuing that and what we see in each other and the gifts to we bring to each other. And I'm so grateful that I found you right as I was fully acknowledging, embracing my shamanic path. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again in person, hopefully soon. And is there anything that specifically that you want people to know about your offerings out there? Is there anything, a website or whatever?
Yeah. She had sent, I wonder if you can post it. No, you can't. Can you post it? Do you have access to your audience or no? Uh, um, you can,
What is
I'm
your
doing
website?
personal work. Okay, Lynn at lynnforce.com. Yeah,
Lynn
just,
at lynnforrest.com, and that's the way they
yeah.
can reach you. And is that your
And
website?
that's my website. And you can also find me, just got started on doing a YouTube channel. And so doing some stuff there and got my, the book that is the work that's in all of this that I told you about. So many people, so many professionals seeking it and bringing it into their classrooms and that kind of thing. It's all about the victim triangle. And I just finished, it's
Does it
actually
have
been
a
in
name?
storage.
Does it have a
Yeah,
name?
it's called The Three Faces of Victim by Lynn, or
The
Faces of Victim,
The
either
Three
one.
Faces of Victim,
Uh-huh.
and that's by
And
Lynne
then
Forrest.
I have a follow-up book to that, and that is the you get it at Amazon. Uh and that is Life Beyond Victim Consciousness. Guiding
Beautiful.
Principles for Life Beyond. Yeah.
Well, that's a
So
good place to end with our 1 minute left here, and that life beyond victimization. And I think that's a place to really live and to really bring this to a close, is to thank you for the beautiful work that you've
thank
always
you.
been doing, Lynn, ever since I've met you and way before I met you. And that we two elder shamanic women, Aquarian women, have paved the path on that spiral path that perhaps others can pick up the scent and can find their way from, some of the work that we've done. May we leave these legacies behind. So it's time for us to close, but I want to say that I love you. I respect you. I'm so glad that you're looking good.
Oh,
and
you too. You look great too. Hey,
and
I want to say,
yeah,
I want to just say, lynnforrest.com. If you just, when you get on Google,
yeah,
just do lynnforrest.com and you'll pull up various
and
things.
there'll be lots
And
of stuff.
that'll enter the world of Lynne Forrest, blah, blah, blah. So do that, folks, for those of you listening and are interested. And I would love to
Mhm.
meet you.
So thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. We have to do this more often.
It
And
would
I
be
know it's
nice.
time for us to close, but just want to take a moment out there to say you've been with Lynne Forrest today, and with Star Wolf and Transformation Radio and Aquarian Shaman. And we want to encourage you to embrace your big fat shamanic life too, whatever it looks like. And it's really just about life, birth, life, death, and rebirth, and getting off of that addictive path, to the linear path, or even the circular path, and to step into who it is you really are. In the meantime, or meanwhile, you can find me also at Shamanic Breathwork. Shamanicbreathwork.org is the website, and you can email me at starwolf at shamanicbreathwork.org for lots of things that we're doing, and too many actually to name here. So you can look them up if you would like to participate in something. We do have some programs and trainings coming out really soon, like June 1st. So take care of yourselves, keep breathing, and remember to howl at the moon, and to remember that you're an Aquarian shaman too. Until next time, blessed be. Thank you, Lena. Love
Thank
you.
you so much. I love you. Thanks for taking this time with me. I enjoyed it so much.
This is Star Wolf, and you've been listening to the Experiential Aquarian Shaman broadcast. Transform yourself, transform the world. Join me every second and fourth Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio to awaken your inner Aquarian shaman. Never miss an episode. Subscribe to my channel and connect with me on social media at Linda Star Wolf. For more information about my offerings and trainings, visit shamanicbreathwork.org. Thank you for taking this special time to journey with me.